Okay.
Okay, let me try and share first to be sure that everything is changing. And if you need anything to say or ask at the beginning here, we're waiting very few minutes, but we are starting our first theater. Let's see, somebody's talking here. Okay, so do this. Just to look like a slideshow. Mhm. Okay, let's try this if it's changing. Do we see anything?
It's a small, Mika.
Small? That's
It's not full screen.
Periergo. It looks full screen to me. Let's see. But it's not changing, right?
No, it's not. No.
It's not. Okay, okay, okay. It's a different presentation again. Always on the same computer with a problem. Very, very nice. Okay, let's do this. Okay, great. Is it full screen, first of all?
No, it's the same.
It's the same,
στην οθόνη του PowerPoint.
Η οθόνη του PowerPoint είναι στο μεγάλο.
Εμείς το βλέπουμε μικρό.
Εσείς το βλέπετε μικρό. Τέλεια. Λες και κάναμε κάτι άλλο. Okay. We'll do that.
Μίκα, μήπως το use presenter view.
Όχι, presenter view είναι. Presenter. It's presenter. Το ίδιο πράγμα. It's always the same. It just needs to show a slideshow when you're looking at it. But we'll figure this out. Μισό λεπτό.
It's okay now.
Now we'll see
It's
the
okay.
full screen.
Yes,
Yes,
I
yes,
found
okay.
you need to do something in PowerPoint that it says slideshow. That's how we made it the other time. So, okay, great. I will start so we don't have to wait anymore, slowly. So this is our first presentation that has to do directly with theater costumes. The idea is that we slowly start with performances that are connected to costumes of ancient times, okay? Like ancient Greek tragedy or comedy, Shakespeare plays, and we will not manage a bit of the Commedia dell'arte. But then slowly we need to move to more contemporary plays, but in a way trying to follow the history of costume. That's, for me, the most correct idea of proceeding. So Some of this, what will be really useful for you is our first class. There are parts and a bit of text from there, so we need to remind ourselves all the time what we actually mean by dressing theater costume, a person, a character, an actor. So I'm just repeating a bit. So by costume design, we mean the way performers, actors, actresses are dressed on stage for a specific theater play. Their entire presence includes all the clothing, fashion accessory, hat, wigs, shoes, bags, etc., makeup styles, hairstyles, so the way they look on stage. So the entire look has to be carefully thought out and designed by the costume designer within a character's role description. And always and foremost, it's the relation to the other roles of the play. And every time, we always fall under the concept of the director and this idea they have to create a play in a certain way. I'm sure all of you have seen plays that are out of their real era and many times are approached very contemporary in any kind of time and place. So we still have to remember that all plays now in these years, very rarely we see them in their time. And then on the other hand, we still have to remember that plays until even 1900 were not yet actually dressed as theater costumes. I mean, the idea of the director that is having a concept for the play didn't really exist. So I start by a very well-known Greek tragedy, and this would be Medea. Hopefully that all of us that are here know what the idea and who was Medea. So if I wanted to show you a picture directly by an image that would remind you how people were dressed in ancient Greek times, I choose something like this. Very often now, I will have links for you, links that have a lot of reading for later. So this is an approach to the ancient Greek world. This is a very nice image. This is an image of a group of women. So this could give us an idea how would a chorus be in a play. So we will be talking today about Medea, which is an ancient Greek tragedy. And we are showing images of how the costumes were, how the world was then. Let's say this is how we always start our research. What happened about then? We always start of what happened when the play was written, even if we're talking now of a more newer play. At the beginning, we need to understand how things were then. And then we start finding images of what happened in the theater world. So this is an image of a theater play. We will talk about it later. So just try and see this in relation to this and how using modern textiles, modern colors, a different approach. And of course, here is a very strong image from a theater play. And the first thing that we should notice is this is probably a main person. Here it's Medea for sure. And it's very interesting in this image that this is part of her women chorus. So this is her supporters, right? In this play, I'm going to say more. I'm just starting with images. And it's very interesting. This is a question for you a bit. It's very interesting. We will see more images, why they are covered actually. Their faces are covered. So Medea is a symbol. Even if we just hear the word, hopefully, that's why I'm choosing plays that hopefully you have all heard about, even just a bit. Even if you don't know the story, you've heard it a bit. So it's Medea by Euripides, the play. And we are talking and we are trying to investigate about Medea, Medea the woman, Medea the hero, and the tragedy as a whole. So Medea, it's interesting for me that in foreign written text, she's always not the, I agree with the passionate, and I don't really agree with the so much with vengeful. Yes, she is. Yes, she acted with a lot of vengeance, but my personal opinion is that she had lots of reason for it. So she's pursuing justice. Medea is a text that we have used in various contexts. Let's not forget that Medea is a kind of refugee, is a kind of an immigrant if we think that she left her country. So she left her country, she destroyed part of her family, and she followed somebody she fell in love with. She followed the Asonas in another country, so she's a foreigner in another country. And she created a family there, and an establishment and a status, and you can say as you like it. So when she faces this situation that Iasonas doesn't want her anymore, Jason doesn't want her anymore, she's a person that she'll do anything. And why? I mean, she has nothing to lose. And so challenges and prejudices, and she really thinks that she has to go against everything because she's alone in a foreign place. We should not forget that. She's betrayed and she's forced in exile. They want to let her go again. They tell her, you need to go back. She has nowhere to go back. And this is all very important of how the director will think about her in the play and how we will dress her. So it's a very, very strong situation, a very, very strong play. And all her acts, hopefully you know, have to do with lots of blood. So she will proceed, actually. She wants to make Jason suffer, and she will proceed to do what? To cut all her ties with her current life. So this new life that she created and she thought it would be forever, now somebody is taking that away from her. So if she's not given justice, she will take it for herself. And why is that? I said before, when somebody has nothing to lose, there's no other life for her. There's nowhere to go. Every time you see about Medea, or you see a whole play, or you read about her, you need to keep these things in mind, and whatever else is in your opinion, of course. So we saw in the first presentation, this is a Medea, and she's really portrayed here as a queen. This was 1969, and it's Maria Callas that wore this costume. I found a better picture, so I really wanted to put it here for you. And if we talk for Medea in Greece, this is just a small link for all of you that doesn't know Katina Paxinou, and she is she was an actress. This is many years ago, but she portrayed this character, and it doesn't matter the costume right here. You need to keep in mind her expression. And Katina Paxinou they said she was the best in this role, as she had very recently lost her own daughter by cancer. So she had a tragedy of her own under the stage and upon the stage. And here we start. So Medea had two young children, right? And she proceeds to kill her. And that's all we know about her. That's all everybody remembers. We need to go deeper than all that. In the theater world, these two children have been portrayed in so many ways. It is amazing. I consider her children as part of her presence on stage, as part of her costume. And as you can see, she's portrayed in different ways. Many times they're younger, many times they're older. Here in the plays, in the open air theaters, in Epidavros, in the Herodium Theater, at least it's summer, and many times the boys are young. But one of the most nice presentation also in France was that they were puppets. So they need a presence, not always by actors. So it's part of her presence on stage. And this whole class today, we're going to be using and we're going to be seeing plays that have to do with tragic and, yes, with murder. And you need to see the colors. So red and white are always present. This is something you need to keep in mind. So this is Isabelle Huppert here. I'm moving. We will see them again. So this is an amazing Medea, totally different. I'm putting things that are in total sides many times. So there's not much red here. There's a lot of white. And if there is a lot of white, you need to think what this image actually, what it makes you feel. So if you see something like this, I have to talk about the stage design many times. So if you see a person here, I just told you before, so I'm talking and I'm talking about Medea all the time. So if I'm telling you something now and you see something like this, this should express to you a very deep feeling of loneliness. She's very lonely, Medea. All her actions and whatever she does is because everybody else, all the society is against her. And in most of the plays about Medea, the concept of the director sometimes sits here, sometimes is there. So here, the loneliness. And it's not only the loneliness, it's some kind of imprisonment, inside or outside. This is for you. We're looking at something that each one of us will explain in a different way. So if you keep notes, you will see that each one, and I always put you the links because the material is amazing. The pictures are amazing. We would need a class for each play that I would like to present to you. So here is always the link, so you can go later and have a look. So we had this. It's quite strong. And it's calm. So this image is calm. Why? Not from her expression, but we see the children with her, right? And it's amazing that here they're looking away. Here they are towards her, okay? They're towards each other. Totally different, in another color, in another space. And even though it's an interior space, and in Greece, we won't see a lot of tragedy in interior spaces. We will see them more outside, but in other theaters of Europe and the world, we might mostly see Medea inside. And this is another performance with very interesting, how you say, lots of intensity here, even though we're just seeing a picture. There's live music, of course, on stage. And here Medea is at a point where she's expressing all her pain, all her distress. It's before, after the murder, I don't know. But it's not only the red. The costume is flying, actually. She's occupying more space, as much space as she can. We're still in red, though. The links are here, if we find time. Otherwise, it's for you. So, Medea in and out for me. So, Medea is the ultimate embodiment of female vengeance, an archetype of the femme fatale. Medea's tale has prompted artists to explore the following questions. Why did she kill her children? Did she kill her children in an impassionate fit or rage or jealousy? That's what they say. Or did she murder in cold blood without even thinking? It's deeper than that. And what we're seeing here, what we are reading, it's not always what we abide with, okay? We don't believe it, for sure. It's what they write about the play. It's very interesting how many controversy there is about this play. So Medea was not just a woman who behaved irrationally against her husband and killed her children. She was wronged and let her pride protect her, and she created an identity for herself completely different from the female stereotypes of the time. It's very difficult to think of Medea as a woman in her times. It's quite difficult. I don't think, we were not there, we don't know, but it's very difficult to actually imagine something like that. But if you made a sketch about her, she's alone and everybody else is on the other side. Let me not make a mistake. So these are two links here, and this is one of the paintings that has portrayed Medea, because one side of her was that she was a witch, she was an oracle, she was too many things, and that they were afraid of her. So, and then if she acted like this, they were even more afraid of her. So they call her a mythical murderess, but the symbol is so strong, and you will see me connecting fashion many times. There's a wonderful presentation in the Greek Vogue that even portrayed and styled fashion as Medea. But this is for a bit later. So, coming closer to something more modern, a director will have a specific concept, the designer also, and the costume designer also. So they will have costumes that they might seem extremely contemporary to you, but they will convey the exact meanings that something that looked more ancient or more in the times. So the aesthetic will be an overall image, like where they are. It's not only the costume, it's also the context. And they will reveal to us the information we need to know, even though you are watching these images now here with me. I am explaining, but you still feel like you are the audience at the beginning. So we haven't read the whole play right now. It's like we are the audience and we are detailing the characters upon a stage. So here, even this image is not very clear. There's some woods, we will see them. There's some women here dressed, we can't see them very well, but they're dressed in the same way. There are about 4 women here. So we should understand this is the female chorus. And probably this is the king. And he's holding, again, white and red. So there's blood here. Something happened in a totally different aesthetic context. This is an English performance at the National Theatre with Fiona Shaw. if you see this image first, we don't see very clear. It's something white with a lot of blood. And in a closed space like this, if I was the audience, this would be really strong for me. I haven't seen something like that with tragedy, let's say. So here, this is something that in ancient plays we wouldn't see, we would just hear about it. And here it's extremely strong. It's just a picture, right? So somebody's in distress, it's probably Jason. So I'm describing as if I don't know. Of course, you see a child murdered here, and you see probably another one here on the side. And there is a small pool. Water is a very strong element always. But the most important thing here, and from this picture on, try to have a look. It's Medea and it's her 2 children. So it's the number 2. So this director managed these 2 to remind us all the time that there are 2 children. 2 children will be murdered. So here we have 2 little boats. We have 2 boats, very elementary. It's a child's play. It's like a very old child's play. And it reminds us that we have 2 children here. And these are the images that, of course, we're seeing here because we're having a class. We didn't see the whole performance. We don't know when they first appeared. But imagine if this image, we just saw the water and 2 little boats. We would know that there were 2 children. We know the myth. We're going to lose these children. And the director chose to put the water. Water is such a strong element. Even if you just put on stage this much of water, it doesn't matter. Water is so essential. So water is the mean, and it's the way that Medea left her country to come to another country. She's living somewhere, there's water everywhere. And some boats brought her. Boats, of course, at that time were part of a war. So it's so many things in one picture. And we lost the costumes right now. So we're still in white and red. That's all we're looking at, actually. We're looking at a bloody white dress shirt. It doesn't matter if it's now, then, in the future. That's all we need to know. And this is the whole performance. Okay? And we need to go back to what I told you at the beginning. So what did I describe? Medea left her own country. She even killed her family in order to help Jason. And she went to another country. She built a life there for herself. And then at some point, somebody decides they don't want her anymore. So it's not as if she's going out of just one family. She's going nowhere, actually. So you need to see how this director portrayed all this. I think in a modern setting, it's one of the strongest things I have seen. So Medea's space and Medea's home, and part of in this play where Medea moves more is down here. Okay, so there's some woods here. These are again the women of the chorus, even though dressed in very contemporary dresses, but all these colors, they give them a unity. And what is the amazing thing of what we're actually seeing? Here is all this that is going on. Somebody's in total distress here. This is Medea, right? She's crying probably. And up here, another world. There's another world right above her, outside of her house. In a way, it's the inside out here concept a bit. There's music, there's a party. So society is up here having a very good time. And Medea is down here knowing that she has to go nowhere, actually, if she leaves. So this is a feeling for you at the beginning. And if you're just a simple audience, you wouldn't understand all this at the beginning of the play. But there's so much behind all this. Nothing upon a stage, nothing on the costumes is for no reason, let's say. There's always a little reason there for them. Always. If it's not used, if we don't need it, if the actors don't need it and it's just there sitting somewhere, it's decoration and it's interior design, it has nothing to do with theater. There we are. So we're under. We are under. This is Jason probably. And this is the chorus. They are amazing. The chorus are like part of the trees, are like part of the environment. So Medea has her female chorus here. They're barefoot also. And I think I will have another picture for you for this. Let's go back to number 2, because 2 is so symbolic. It's her children, right? We have 2 swings here. We have 2 swings. If you saw this and it was not Medea, it was not, I mean, you should be in distress with this picture. You should think 2 swings. I mean, 2 swings would be for 2 children who would sit there to play. And then the colors, the light, if you're doing the stage or light design workshop, see how all this works. It works to create a really distressful situation for us, and we don't have the music also. If we had the music, we would really feel worse. So I'm going back and forth with some writings just to show you how much. Let me see if it gets. Okay. The titles don't matter. You know them anyway. So a costume designer always sketches something. So it's something right from her imagination. So actually the clothes are unique. They reflect the idea of the roles. And there are many symbols usually there because we need to convey some meanings. And if we're trying to convey them without words, that's what we have to think about, that the stage design, the costume design will make clear some meanings with little symbols here and there. So what style they are, the colors, their relationship, they are timeless. If you have a white-blooded dress, even if it's in ancient Greece or it's totally contemporary, it's still the same for the play. So Medea is an outcast. She's a queen, but they're going to take everything away from her and she will be an outcast. She has nowhere to go. When you're thinking about Medea, you need to be sure that she had no other solution for all this. It's her world and the other's world. She has 2 children. She has a female chorus, her husband, the new young and innocent wife, Glavki, and the king of the city. So these are the main characters when we're trying to talk about a play, so we don't have to go to all in order to have some time to speak about it. So this is what we're seeing actually in the pictures here. And last year, there was, most of the pictures are there. There was an exhibition in the Epidavros Outdoor Theater with costumes, only theater costumes. The last 50, 60 years, only of Medea costumes in the Greek theater. They're very interesting images in very different ways of how they portrayed her. And here is a link. It's in Greek, but it has all the pictures that somebody can see. Here we don't have so much, the red, and the red is always here somewhere. But it's interesting here in this picture that there's a lot of perplexity here with all these untangled threads, and it's like an unfinished creation. And I think it's really, with all these colors, it's really showing distress for me. But usually she's in red. So the concept, this thing we're going to be saying all the time, the concept, and the concept in any art creation. So design, especially costume design, must always accomplish the following aspects to reveal the concept of the play: the personality within the concept of the play, the time context, the color style, and the unity relations. And all this in relation to the action development. So there is always a unity in a way, or we need to create this unity. There's no other way. The more actors or actresses we have, or the more complex relationships, and depending on the play and the development, it's going to be harder for us to have this unity, but we need it in order for one meaning to come out towards the audience. So the other part, very similar, very close. We will be now in Elizabethan times, 16th century, Shakespeare theater. And we will again see tragedy in a way, like a drama. And we will see about characters that are most strong. I think you also know it's not one play, it's 1, 2, 3 plays here of Shakespeare, but there are characters that are very dramatic. They were portrayed, we have seen them, if it's English theater, more in their time, but of course in contemporary times. So these mythical creatures, the witches, which are really very strong, Shakespeare had a love for them. So they are like in 3 plays, Hamlet, Macbeth, and Othello. And they're very interesting to see their personalities, because usually they're supposed to be human, non-human. There's something over this world. And so I have all the links for you for the play. So this is for Macbeth here. And I'll go back to some of the links in the end, but we need to go through. So witches. So they say, or is it a myth, or I don't know, that in Shakespeare times, when they were performing at the Globe, the witches sometimes were the opening scene, and Shakespeare wanted them to be really terrifying, and and the common people many times that were there close, they were not sitting up in the rows. The gossip was that, oh my God, maybe they're real witches. So the costumes had to be like very, very scary. So, I mean, how would the costumes be very scary at those times? And Shakespeare is a writer that will have mythical creatures, will have lots of masquerades. He loves all these things. So there, maybe we would see something that is more complicated, but still we need to remember that in those times, they would just wear the fashion of, of the era, what was around them. So here, amazingly, from many different plays, you can see very, very different portrayals of these terrifying witches. Still, why did I choose to go from Medea to such plays? You can see the paganistic costumes and relation, and even the way, I mean, here there's relation even with ancient costumes here, ancient eras, whether it's Greece, Italy, Mesopotamia, what we saw 2 classes ago. Here also, I mean, there's something between human and non-human. Here we don't even know. These are the only ones that look like men. They're totally terrifying. And these also have different cultures. It's strange, many times you will see, you need to take a note of that. You see a costume that's quite modern. They're a bit like dancers here. Then the costume has elements like hair. You see, this looks like hair and wool and I mean, different. This is hair also here. It's her hair, wigs probably, yes, in the practical sense. Here also, they could be like an African or some kind of strange ritual. And then on the other side, their faces, they wear no masks. They have no strange makeup. This is something of a contemporary style. We will see it in other plays also. So here, in a way, they're like dressed in their own hair. So they're strange creatures of strange rituals. There they are, again. They're a bit more, here you can see them. They're a bit more, here they start taking things off. That's not a whole picture, but I just put, they moved around, so they start undressing and they're like here a bit. Here we will be going around within 3 plays, and their common element is blood. Red, murder, name it as you like. So, I mean, you have this costume. What costume? The costume is totally ruined. There's a totally blood. I mean, how more symbolic could something be that he's wearing a blooded crown? So, I mean, which character could that be? Not many. So he's a king, he's a murderer, question mark. Is he dead? Is he a ghost? There's so many things we could be asking if we have no idea. And the costume is quite modern. It looks a bit like a military uniform of some times or future times. It's not something that we know what it is. Somebody created it. But you'll forget about the costume because he's wearing a crown, blood is dripping down. And it's Macbeth. We saw this at the beginning, as you remember. Totally different approach. Okay? So totally different approach. They had a total suit that was a white contemporary men's suit. And the only information we might get was a skull on his back. Okay, we understand very easily what it is. The whole play was like graffiti and skulls everywhere. And there's, and the bloodline continues. So there's Macbeth, there's Lady Macbeth. There's too much drama in Macbeth also. So here is Fiona Shaw in Medea. And here is Lady Macbeth. Look at the costumes, the surroundings also that are totally here. I mean, it's totally like a neoclassical building with big doors. Of course, it's a stage. And this is a a unique creation again. You see what's going on. It's white, yes. But there's elements here from Renaissance, from many other, but it's all white because we need to, I mean, she's in a pool of blood. She's gonna die too. So in a way, red is only down here, it's coming up. If we could, I should have an assignment that says all the white blooded costumes. It would be a very, very long research, but they're so strong. We are very drawn to red. I mean, it's the basic color, and it's the color of life, and it's the color of death, and it's within us. And if it's bright red, it's mean that something happened now. It's not black, it's not old, it's really bright red. So it's happening right now. Some people, and I have witnessed that, cannot stand the seeing blood, and it doesn't have to be real. It can be in a picture, or it can be in a play, in a video, or anything. They just faint. So there's a very strong connection there. So as the vast internet, I'm talking and writing and talking and writing. So if for the first time you would like to research a character, I mean, exactly this is what you should be doing. We said from day one, we just keep writing here. Who is the character? Here is a character. Okay, she's not here. It's just wearing a costume of those times, medieval times. And these are all the thoughts, okay? And the thoughts can be just thrown in there. They don't have to be all correct. They don't describe her clothes, for sure. So they're adjectives, or their descriptions, or maybe their thoughts of what you would like her to be. But there's no way that we're not writing what we need to do. It's just a very simple image, but it's very interesting. And maybe when we see it, we understand, because here it's like of her, here is her position, like she's, very wealthy and she's superior. And this is what is happening in the play. Okay, she's married to Macbeth. Great. And here is about her character a bit. She's malicious, she's sly, she's devious. So there's different things written around there. And for you that are, you're starting with something like this, there's lots of interesting projects here. Something that I really liked, and I will show you. This is a platform where they put projects up. And this Max David, he's really interesting. He does really nice sketches, and he's studying Othello, actually. And he's doing some really nice collages also in research. So like in the first, if you can manage with PowerPoint, which is a very simple program, this is what you should be doing for us here. I mean, if you want to research and if you want to go on, I don't need anybody to sketch or design if they can't. But what is most important, you need to actually research so you can understand what you would like or you would see about a character. So this is the link. I need to finish this presentation, and then I'd like to see some of these links, but we need to move on first. So part of what we said on the first class is always the when and the where. So here, what is the style? What is the era? We are in the times of kings and queens. The overall design and the aesthetic, the style of the play, the costumes, first glance. I'm always repeating this first glance, meaning that you will see a picture, you will see a play, you will see a movie, and you will have an idea, meaning that it will convey the context of the play, the era, even the geographical setting sometimes. So if it's about 18th century, you can search about, you say, okay, great, it's in this century. Then if you see a traditional dress, or you would say, okay, if you see a traditional and you recognize it, if they've used something traditional, you might find from where is this? So does it relate to climate or not? Meaning, are they lightly dressed? Are they wearing furs? What are they wearing? And this is something we can understand fast if we start having all this critical mind all the time. So is it the north, the south? Is it cold? Is it hot? So, or can we understand maybe from which continent it is? Okay, if it's a traditional piece. So here are some other sketches that are quite professional, I would say. So they're again from Macbeth, just that we have an idea. So this is a bit in between. There's all the long figures of the era, quite correct, but something like this is more contemporary. Make a note that many times when we're doing era plays, wearing something long, wearing something that looks like a uniform. So here there's a ribbon, right? So there's some kind of uniform of some part of the government, let's say. So there's some authority there. So they really like wearing long coats and trench coats from a totally different era, because here we have mixed eras. I mean, here we would have Elizabethan pants here, but then the rest is totally different. And a very interesting detail just in the drawings, right? So we don't know if the play was performed, but he chose to put some red lines here, just like a sketch, and all the blooded hands. I don't know if they would wear blooded gloves, but here we are. Same person here. So this is of one character. So before here, we saw the most important characters, one next to the other. And we really like to know with sketches, do they go well with each other? The colors, the styles. Here, we are watching one character. So we are doing variations of the costume. Sometimes they change, sometimes they add on, sometimes they take off. Sometimes it's practical, unfortunately. It's not always National Theatre. We would like to think about National Theatre, but it's not always National Theatre. It could be a smaller production. So here are different designs, different variation for one character. And our little notes. When I find all this that I find, I put here for you. This is how we work. It's funny. We're making costumes and we're making lots of notes. And there's lots of blood in different ways, right? I mean, it could be red, but it's not in a white shirt or in a white blouse. It's on the hands. Okay, that's fine. Yes, the recording is really in place, plus the presentation today. So we have blood coming down. This would be very interesting. I mean, we've used it in many plays. So, I mean, what would you do here? I would put threads. And threads are a bit shocking here because it's like, you know, strings of blood or strings of red threads. But she's got the blood everywhere. I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know if it happened, actually. We should research about that. And you see how the colors are very subtle, right? So we have like black and gray and red and white, few colors. But it's a dark play. We're talking about drama. Drama is more interesting. If you're doing comedy, you're having more fun with the costumes, but drama is quite dark. So, of course, there's little spaces where theater and cinema and fashion, they meet, and there are designers like Mugler. There are several designers, fashion designers, I would say the gold designers of the 20th century that have worked for theater or cinema, or not many, not in many plays, but they have an interesting approach because there's something, they have a very interesting vision. So these are costumes, you can see it very well. I mean, you can understand how heavy they are, and they are all this armory, but the red is not very strong here, you would say. But they have all the forms of Elizabethan period. And I think forms like this, especially this, I mean, this is very futuristic. This could be in a science fiction play, but these are quite strong. And they're quite, I mean, they're very strong to our eye. So it is quite clear that they were from a creator from another space a bit, from another field. Very interesting. It's not always that we find things in fashion, like the presentation in Vogue that I said before. So with Mugler, we are a bit here. This is from your first presentation. We are a bit here, that they are costumes of a specific era, but in a way, they're in an imaginary realm. I mean, think about it. They look a bit out of this world and not so much in a play of that time. So even though we're talking about the same characters, the same people, still, they create another world. Yes, costumes can create another world. There are plays where there's no stage design and there's only costumes and light design. And everything is actually pointed out by the costumes. So when you have something like that, we will see many like this in the future. They create, this is a new world. This is totally, we have a story, but in a totally new context. And I have to say here that if you watch movies, you should love the science fiction movies, because sometimes they're in the future, sometimes they're in a deep past, or in a future beyond our destruction, let's say, and they are forced to create a new world. And then this new world has totally new costumes. So there are many films that have amazing costumes with little, with symbolism and ideas and forms and styles from the whole history of fashion. And this is something we're going to explore later. So today here, we have talked about really powerful costumes. So they are revealing of a very strong personality in the character. And from ancient Greek drama to Shakespeare times, the unity of the tragedy as an aesthetic, that it's a drama, is common, as you can see. And this is the lesson. I mean, this is what we were focusing on today for the costumes. The actor, the main actor, the main character that is so dramatic, the costumes that they wore were not far from each other. So totally different realities, totally. So here we are so much within the era, right, of Shakespeare. We're in a big castle, let's say, just see it as an image now. And here, and these things feels, let's say, more common to us. But there's decoration here of dead trees and many animals and horns and everything. So this thing here is not pure design. It's here to show us that the situation is quite difficult. It's very pointy. It's dead wood. It's dead animals. It's lots of horns. And so this is actually conveying the meaning more. It's not on her costume. And here what? Here we are, maybe I think it was 2006 or something, but we have a person, totally contemporary clothes and everything. But just here, if I could have a zoom like right here, as we saw with this costume that had a skull in the back. So this is all that it takes, and we know it's Hamlet. And it's very to the point. And he's probably somebody even, I mean, he has holes in his costumes. He's a bit ragged. He's living in the streets. I don't know. Totally different settings and realities. There are so many, endless. And, okay, this should be more part of the light design. But what do we have here? We just have contrast of light and lots of red. So red is all over us. It's very strong. It's probably the chorus of Medea. It's a Medea performance in Spain. And there's so drama into this that we don't need to see. We don't even see the actresses. We don't see what kind of costumes. We just have this setting, their bodies, their color, and we know things are not very well. So I will just go a bit fast because it's not the time for this. It will be another, but it's part of this context. So Commedia dell'arte, because it was Renaissance and it was the first, you need to give me 1 second, please. No, I'm fine. So, sorry. Minutes. Okay, sorry for this, but sometimes. So these are the characters. So, you know, as Commedia was the street theater. So these are the main characters I have for you here. This is one of the first paintings. And this is all about Commedia we will explore in the future. So now what we will do, 1 second, please. I'm going to go back to all these nice things that we didn't have a look. Please, if you have something to say, it's a good time. But okay, I will have to go out and find the links. Okay, so give me a second. Because there's a lot of material and it's good. You need to explore it. I mean, having a class is about having a class and another 2 hours on your own. So let's see, and I'm gonna start this. And then I need to share again. Okay, 1 second. Unfortunately, there's too much of ads and everything going around, unfortunately, but I need to show you what they look like because it's always very good to see. So, okay, let's go back to you. Mhm. I'm going to share again. Okay. Let me just see. It's here. You have to let me know if you see this. My God, I need to make it bigger. Sorry. Here, can you see this site?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so this is the designer here that we talked about. And there's a lot of material here around. It's a platform, artstation.com. Behance is another platform, if you know it. I think I told you maybe.
Yes.
Yes, so it's very interesting to see his work around this play and other plays, but there's too much ads going on. Okay, let me see here. The material is quite vast, I would say. Okay, you see? They're more common but you see the way he presents. They're for other plays also. But at this point, for us, it's very important to see something very simple, something that belongs to the era, and then something that is totally contemporary or total futuristic. That's how we need to move. Of course, most of the plays that are around us right now and what we would need to know is more contemporary. So let's see. And he talks about the how and where, I would say. So the links will be all in the presentation that I will send you. So let me go back again. Give me 1 second, please. I'm here. I'm just trying to stop this and then find the other. This one, I have it here. Very nice. Excellent. Okay. So, all right, we are here. Let's see. Okay, it should be. Nice. You can see her, I think, right?
Yes.
Great. So this is the amazing Medea from La Mama Theater. Here we are. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, great. I can't see you here. 1 second. Found it. Very nice. Now we can see each other. Okay, great. So this was with live music on stage. I mean, you have to explore more, but look at the whole picture. So there's, in order, of course, to see the red as so much red, you need to be in a background that really enhances it. So here is what is going on, you see? This is the links that I have put for you today in this presentation. 2 or 3 of them are very well presented and explained and very helpful. And you see how things are. I mean, he looks quite in his era, like it would be ancient times. And then they have, these are innovations that we can still not understand many times as theater people. They have little lights here. Many times it's very hard in the summer when we have foreign performances in Epidavros that they just have a bit too much innovation for us. But this is something for you to decide what's going on. Sometimes we live in an era that we need to show some connection. Still, you see how the light works. This is stage light, costume, everything. Okay, it's white. So it's not the color of the floor, it's the light. So here we have red light on white floor. This was the blood lesson today. I think she's like the most important presentation here. So we saw this, and I need to move you around. Maybe I need to go here. No, that's all that we have here. So we go out of here. So bear with me again. Okay, and we're finding the next. When we are researching a concept and I'm choosing plays and characters that are as symbolic as possible, here we are. We need to always remember that they're so strong, these symbols and characters and persons, that we all know them. We know them. It's so amazing that we all know them all around the world and through time also. One sec. Why doesn't it want to go in here? So I don't know. I had all these links open and I don't know why they're not here now. This is technology. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Please, here we are. Finally. Managed. Okay. Let's go back to you. Sharing. Okay. You can see this, right? So this was yes, this was fashion in Medea in fashion, let's say it like this. So it was very interesting. What they do in fashion, as you know, is that they really like the concepts. And so they borrow concepts from everywhere, usually from past eras. I mean, Rococo era is like their favorite thing in fashion. But anyway, many times they choose from ideas. It's not very direct here, but I found it interesting for Medea. So I think they're focusing more on a queen, strong queen concept. And this is one of them. And of course, when something goes on in fashion like this, it's not as if you could use the costume in theater. No, you're just seeing it because you might have ideas about the form, the material. Here, it's something it's very dark. It's very strange. It's probably jute or plastic, or I don't know exactly what it is. I cannot tell you where we would use this in Medea, but this is the concept. So here, it's like a huge, many times in the tragedies, in the plays, they're like huge jewelry, pieces of jewelry, or pieces that, I mean, they almost look like armory. So in their idea, okay, this is, for them, it's Medea for some reason. This is nicer. This reminds us of Maria Callas' costume a bit. So this is more of a dramatic concept. Could be other things. I think for me, in here, this is the whole picture because I can't show you. Let's stay here. It's probably some kind of jacket with a very strong neckline, and it's worn in a strange way. It's wool. I mean, wool connects us a bit to the sheep. So this is very nice. This is very symbolic. I mean, I could see this on a costume. I like it. So if we're seeing it because we might get an idea. So this is part of the jewelry we were saying. So here is jewelry. But we have to say that all these pictures, one after the other, they're quite dramatic. The colors, the way they are set, their surroundings. And as you can see, many designers, when they're doing new collections every year, they name them. They really like all these ancient words and everything. So the concept here in the photographer is Medea. There she is again. And we have to go out of here one more time. Sorry, yes, I cannot minimize. And getting out of here now. 1 second. Okay, and we have this now. Very nice. So this is a theater in Bulgaria. I have to say, 1 second, I haven't shown you yet. I have to say that in the Balkans, our tradition is very close. We just finished a costume project that's called Fashionation, and it had to do with the Balkan traditional costumes and fashion. And for 2 years, the research was amazing. And we have so many things in common. So this, I'm trying to, sorry. Okay, this is Medea in Sofia, Bulgaria. trying to make that. Ah, I'll take this down. Thank you. There we are. It's a very nice site. Lots of white here. So a woman director, you see here, the poster is amazing. I mean, where did all the suffering of Medea start? If we ask this question and look at her hat here, her helmet. So the main element for Medea here, she looks, I think, so enclosed. You might say with all this white, she's like in an institution, question mark. These are all the thoughts that you should be having. I mean, you should be telling me the thoughts, but you see how the main element is this. Of course, it's gold. It's like a crown, you would say. This is very interesting presentation of the whole play. Really nice images, as you can see. And it shows us how strong the relationships are. We cannot see and we cannot say that it's a very specific or very complicated costume, right?
But it is effective.
Very effective. Very effective. Sometimes, and I'm not a person of simplicity, but you see how simple colors makes us see the forms so much.
Sometimes less is more, so I totally agree on that.
Yes, because the forms become clear. Sometimes there's too much noise to too many colors. But today we were focusing so much on white and red. There's no red here yet. I don't know if it's somewhere else. But red is here, of course. Anyway, really. And it was not based on one text. So it was the original text, 1, 2, 3. So I'm sure they did a really good work of what they thought of Medea. Of course, if we are a designer, a costume designer in a play that the director has a specific idea, we follow that. But this is amazing, of course. And in all these pictures, right, we have not seen the children, but the children are here. So they are here. I think about Medea and drama today, we covered most of what I would like to say. It stopped. Very nice. So today we have the recording, all of it. But the presentation I did send had a bit more material than what we saw. So you have everything there. We're not having any project right now, but if I'm putting links, it's a bit for you to explore. For those of you that are here, I'm still, we still have time. And I would really like for you to do the projects, the first and the second. So anything you want, we will talk directly by mail between us. And in the next 2 classes, you will move on a bit, and then I'll go back. You will move on a bit to the 20th century and designers connected to theater. So there's more interesting work there. The thing with theater costume design, it's not like history of costume. You cannot begin in ancient Egypt and end in the year 2000, because as theater started to evolve, I mean, all all the eras existed at the same time. We would take a text, we still do, of course. We take a text that was written then, and then we need a very contemporary view on it. For me, this is a bit difficult. I cannot leave the era of a text. I believe that our first notes and sketches have to do with the era. Okay, so then you decide that, okay, how is this play going to evolve? What is the director thinking? So is it totally contemporary? For me, that's the most difficult part. So, okay, everyday clothes. Can we actually convey all the meanings with everyday clothes? This is a question every time. Maybe we do, maybe we can. If you are connected to fashion, you will have a bit more ideas. But then it's the other way around, because fashion was totally inspired by all the eras from ancient times until by the time theater started. So there's a lot of thought there. Have you seen, I mean, the question is, have you seen any play of Medea either in theater or in, or Shakespeare also, or in a cinema or something? Anyone? There is an English director. We will have to find her. That she's done very few plays in film. I think she's done not many, but she has done The Tempest of Shakespeare. She has done with Anthony Hopkins, which one is it? Titus Andronicus. That's her most characteristic.
I saw that movie.
Andronicus, yeah. So she creates, she's very strange because she does the stage design also, I think. So she creates an idea of the play, which is the Shakespeare play. So what she does, she takes Titus Andronicus as a text and she uses all the texts. So she tells the story with the Shakespearean language. And then I think she's a stage designer also. The whole idea of the characters and the space, I mean, she films, but it's like theater. I mean, she creates some space that when she needs something outdoors, she will do it. But then most of her filming looks like a huge theater, but it's a film. And there, I mean, really, you might see, we have to watch some of Titus Andronicus, you might see like 10 styles of costumes. You will see costumes from ancient Greece. You will see setting and costumes from ancient Rome. And then you will go on and you will see costumes of the authorities, and they are dressed like the Nazis, like German soldiers. And they're all like theatrical way. And the whole thing is very dramatic, very strong. And she's done maybe 3 or 4 of these films. I mean, her films should take years to make. And she's English, that's why she manages. Because in America, they would never do that. So I think there's a lot of material to explore around this. Our project in the summer will not be one play. It will be parts and characters and settings. So from all the presentations that we do, we will, so you can start thinking about it. You can start researching a bit when you have some time. You can research a bit of what is going on in characters connected to tragedy in this way, as we said today. And this has nothing to do, you can draw or you, but it's very important. There's so much material. I mean, I'm showing you here what is well connected and between the two worlds, but there's so much more there. So for me, that's for today. And please, if you have any questions, or you need something else? I mean, you write to me directly, but I'm just asking if you need to say something today. Nice and quiet, everybody. Great. Oh, Panos is probably missing, who is quite loud usually. So please, if there's anything you want, please write or tell us or whatever. I have to. We have to keep a bit track. Sorry, I'm not taking a picture of you. Just of the, it's easier. We're extremely quiet today. Please, if is there something you would like to point out?
Can you just give us a name of the costume designer you
Find her.
invited?
You know what? See Titus Andronicus film. It's Jessica
Okay, I
Lange.
will find it.
My
Okay.
God, I'm stuck sometimes. I used to remember everything.
I
But,
saw that movie a long time ago, so
long
I
time
forgot.
ago. Really, I usually focus on that movie for ancient Rome a lot, but it's really, but let's find it. I mean, it's crazy. But I was talking about it recently again, because I think that the work with the costume on the stage is amazing. And it's one of those films that is filmed like a theater play. It's something in between. I mean, you can see settings are like a theater play.
Yes,
There
you can also, set that for a Dogville movie.
Dogville also, yes. But I think Dogville did this on purpose. You know, it was a bit like it's Brecht. Dogville, it's what, okay, Titus Andronicus, great. Let us see about this. And no, wait a minute. We'll find it. I will find another one also.
that reminded me
Yeah,
of
2002, my God. It's been some time.
Can you maybe tell me who was the
Julie,
director?
okay, great. This is she's very important. Julie Taymor.
I have like a question. Can you like confirm if I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
Yes.
Jacqueline Duran, also who made like the Anna Karenina movie. It was kind of similar.
Anna Karenina was theater into film.
Yeah.
That was amazing also. And the actors were, I don't remember we have to take some notes about that, but because when we are in those eras, we will have more to say about, and I will have all the links because I have them of these films, but I don't remember, I don't know the name. But give me 1 second. I'll tell you here. Because really, if we are talking about drama, and if we are talking something, it's theater, but with all the elements and all the wonderful things a film can do. And it's rare, but Julie Taymor has done The Tempest also, and she's really great. It's been many years, but that's when. Okay, there we are. This one. Oh my God, I think it's also online. I have it on. Sorry, I'm really sorry about this. We can't move out of that. Okay. 1 second. So if This is Titus Andronicus. It's really... It's not of very good quality, I would say. So all kind of authority is dressed in military way. And there's extremely well-known actors there. Let me see. Great. And she's dressed like a golden queen Medusa. Oh, God. They won't even let us. This is amazing. It doesn't go out. There we are. Finally. Somebody. Okay. Great. Okay. So there's a lot to think about. And I will send you all the material. I will see you in 3 weeks, and you will be doing, I will try to see, I'm not very sure I can connect from where we will be. So do we have any participants here from Rwanda today? Maybe not. Okay, so this is where we're going to be. So I'm going to be sending you what you will be doing in the next 2. I send you a new outline of the classes, and I will be seeing you again in 2 weeks. So I have a question here. It's always personal. It's the costumes. It's not only the costumes that are personal. First of all, we have the personal view of the director, but it's based on a very specific era. So yes, it's personal for you and for me and everyone, but you decide to have a concept. So you decide of what you want to express, and you have some reason for it. It's always personal. I mean, art is always personal, but you have a reason. So you base, maybe because the stage design is like this, you follow a specific road. Maybe because your research is like that, you follow a specific road. I mean, when we will have to do something with characters, you need to explain. Okay, many times, I mean, in opera, it happens this a lot. At some point, they were crazy recreating all the opera plays. Oh, it was in the 30s. It was mid-wars. It was the 40s, the 60s. They're crazy about the 30s and the 60s, as you know, in many film, theater, and opera. But they say where they are based. So it's personal for us. And the word personal is very correct, because if you read a play, if I describe to you a character to dress them, then you have a very personal opinion. And you have a feeling that, as I said, from the first day, it is very, it's an instinct, and it's usually correct. So you have a first personal view, and you might be researching for the next weeks, and then you have to explore this. You will come back to your first personal view, and this will be the correct one. So yes, I think it's always personal. Okay. So have a good evening, please. If you need something, I thank you. Send me a message and we will be in contact.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Καλό βράδυ. Καλή νύχτα.
It was very interesting.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. If you have any thoughts, write them down and send them.
Okay.
See you next week. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.